It was still dark when I stepped out onto my front porch, coffee in hand, ready to start another quiet morning. My neighborhood was always still before the sun rose, the street lamps glowing faintly against the mist, the air crisp enough to wake me better than the coffee could. But that calm shattered the moment my eyes drifted to my porch. Something was wrong. My house number, the black iron digits I'd personally chosen, bolted onto the wood frame just last year, wasn't there anymore. Instead, I found a new plaque, brighter, shinier, freshly drilled in, but with the wrong number entirely. I stood there frozen, my coffee cooling in my hand, staring at those unfamiliar numbers like I just walked up to someone else's house. At first, I thought maybe I was overtired, maybe I'd stumbled onto the wrong porch, but no, this was my home. My welcome mat was there, my chair was still in the corner, but the number? Replaced. Wrong. The confusion lasted only a few seconds before a hot surge of anger replaced it. This wasn't random vandalism. No, this was deliberate, neat, precise. And taped underneath the mailbox was a folded slip of paper, the HOA's dreaded correction notice. I yanked it free and scanned the words, my heart pounding harder with each line. Violation. Improper house numbering, not consistent with community standards. Corrective action has been applied by HOA. Homeowner will be billed. Billed. For them sneaking onto my porch in the dead of night and drilling into my property like they owned it. My jaw locked so tight it hurt. I didn't even need to guess who was behind this. It had Karen written all over it. Karen, the so-called president of our HOA, had been on a crusade for months. It didn't matter if it was lawns, driveways, mailboxes, Christmas lights. If she thought something didn't fit her vision of uniformity, she attacked it. Always with her little clipboard, always with her smug smile, and always with the words, "It's for the community." But this was different. She hadn't just nitpicked, she'd trespassed. She had tampered with my property. And worst of all, she had swapped my number with the house 2 doors down. That wasn't just petty, that was dangerous. Imagine if emergency services came, a fire truck or ambulance wasting minutes at the wrong door because Karen wanted consistency. That's when the anger burned hotter, because she had no idea what line she just crossed. What Karen didn't know, what she couldn't have known, is that I wasn't just another homeowner. I worked for the county. My job? Property records, zoning, compliance. My hands signed off on permits. My eyes spotted violations. I was the one who flagged problems before they spiraled. And in this county, house numbering wasn't just decoration, it was law. State recognized, legally recorded, federally protected. And Karen had just committed a crime, not a correction. Still gripping the notice, I stormed to my neighbor's house, the one whose number was now bolted onto my wall. He opened the door in his robe, rubbing his eyes, and the look on his face told me he'd already noticed. His porch bore my number, crudely affixed in the same shiny plaque. He didn't even need to say anything. His expression said it all. She swapped ours too. Middle of the night, I heard drilling but thought it was someone's car. Woke up to this mess. I showed him my slip, he showed me his, both signed by Karen, both citing uniformity. By noon, the whole block was buzzing. Turns out Karen had gone on a late-night spree armed with her clipboard and a drill, swapping numbers like she was rearranging furniture. Some people didn't even know yet. Others were furious. And Karen? She strutted around the cul-de-sac, smug as ever, talking about standards. I went inside, opened my work laptop, and pulled up the county code. There it was, in black and white. Unauthorized modification of registered property numbers, misdemeanor. Tampering with recorded addresses, fines up to $10,000 per property. Endangerment of emergency response services, escalated penalties. I started typing every detail, every violation. And for once, I wasn't doing it for the job. I was doing it for me, for my neighbors, for everyone Karen had tormented. But I didn't stop there. I printed the documents, sealed them in a folder, stamped with the county seal, and went door to door. Each neighbor opened their door with the same weary expression, but when I explained what Karen had done and how illegal it truly was, Their weariness turned to outrage. She changed mine too. She fined me last month for a kid's scooter. She tried to tell me my wreath was a violation. One by one, they joined me. Not just angry anymore, determined. Karen had ruled with intimidation, but now we had facts, law, authority. By the time the Sunday HOA meeting rolled around, the community hall was overflowing. People who hadn't attended a meeting in years showed up, arms crossed, eyes sharp. Karen stood at the front like a queen surveying her kingdom, clipboard clutched to her chest. She cleared her throat, ready to launch into her usual speech about upholding standards. That's when I stood, slowly, calmly, folder in hand. "Before you start, Karen," I said, my voice carrying across the room, "we need to talk about the house numbers." Her eyes flickered just for a second, betraying the tiniest crack in her composure. "Oh, that? Just community improvement. No big deal." "No big deal?" I stepped forward, placing the folder on the table with a heavy thud. The county seal gleamed under the fluorescent lights. Gasps echoed around the room. Karen's face drained of color. She stammered something about aesthetic alignment, but the words fell flat. I opened the folder, pulling out photos, notices, copies of the law. I didn't need to raise my voice. The weight of the truth carried it for me. Neighbors leaned forward, their anger simmering into focus. One by one, they spoke. "You endangered my family. My packages already got lost this week. What if 911 went to the wrong house?" Karen's composure cracked. She tried to regain control, slamming her clipboard down. "This meeting is out of order." "No, Karen, you're out of order. And starting tomorrow, the county will be investigating with or without this HOA's consent." That's when the murmurs turned to cheers. People clapped. Some even stood. And Karen? She shrank back, her power evaporating in real time. The following week was chaos. For her, not for us. County officials showed up, taking statements, snapping photos, recording violations. Neighbors who once feared her now openly mocked her. Fines stacked up faster than she could shuffle papers. Her smug smile vanished, replaced with frantic whispers and desperate attempts to shift blame. But the truth was clear. She'd gone too far, and now she was paying for it. For once, the neighborhood breathed easier. Kids played without fear of tickets, parents decorated without fines, and me? I sat back on my porch, sipping my coffee and looking at my restored house number. Mine, legal, correct. The quiet had returned, but this time it was different. This time it was peace, because Karen finally learned the hard way. When you mess with people's homes, you don't just face angry neighbors. Sometimes you face the county itself. And that's when I realized something important. Bullies only thrive when people stay quiet. But the moment you stand up with truth, with law, with courage, they crumble. And Karen, she crumbled harder than anyone thought possible.
Another day, another HOA problem.